Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. My Charlotte Tilbury package finally arrived this afternoon. I have been stalking this package for days because it was delayed, but it is here. So this is the new Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette. There are two shades. I picked up both. I really couldn't decide because they're both incredibly stunning. So this is the fair to medium, and then I also have the medium to deep. So we will unbox, swatch, demonstrate both of these palettes. I'm planning to use these on face and eyes today, and I figured we might as well do a full face of Charlotte Tilbury. On the back it says a dreamy beautifying Pillow Talk blush and glow in a palette for all over face, cheek, and eye gilding. Brush over cheeks, cheekbones, temples, inner corner of the eyes, eyelids, cupid's bow, and décolletage. Every detail down to the cardboard packaging is incredibly beautiful, and then on the back you can see she gives us directions. One thing I love about Charlotte Tilbury products is that she makes everything so user-friendly. This is truly a foolproof palette, so she has each of the shades numbered. Starting in the top left-hand corner going clockwise, we have the Soft Blush, Super Glow, Super Blush, and the Multi Glow. This is shade fair to medium. I love that it says Pillow Talk. You have the Charlotte Tilbury logo, and then you have that beautiful kind of tufted design imprinted on the powder. This iridescent mother of pearl compact is truly one of the most beautiful pieces of luxury makeup I have ever seen, which is part of the reason why I went ahead and sprung for both palettes, because this medium to deep palette, I can absolutely make this work on the cheeks and the eyes. But I would have just picked up one had it not been for this amazing packaging. I think this will be one of the most beautiful luxury makeup launches of 2022. Of course, I'll need time to properly play around with both of them, but just based on what they look like in the pan, I think for somebody with my skin tone, both of these highlighters should work, and the blushes. This top, very Pillow Talk looking shade, the kind of cooler, dusty rose, is not my favorite shade. I prefer the Super Blush in this palette. And then over here, I actually really like this Pillow Talk blush. It's kind of like a warm peach. And then down at the bottom, I would just have to be incredibly light-handed, but I think I could do it. The top highlighter looks very pretty, and then the bottom highlighter would just be a blush topper. It's so pretty, I really don't want to mess it up, but I'm going to go ahead and swatch these palettes. That way we can compare them side by side. They swatch fairly light, which makes sense because it's not an eyeshadow palette, it is a face palette. But at least you can kind of get an idea of what the colors will look like on the face. This is the fair to medium palette. This is the medium to deep palette, and I can confirm that the two light highlighters are different. Very similar, but slightly different. I scooted in a little bit closer, and it's time to work on complexion. The only thing I have on my face right now is moisturizer, so I'm going in first with the Hollywood Flawless Filter. Of course, I have this little mini size, and I am going to apply this to the center points of the face and blend out. I have shade 3 Fair, so it's going to give us a little brightness, a little highlight, a beautiful glow. I am blending this out with a Refer 37 brush. The Hollywood Flawless Filter always looks really beautiful, but especially if I'm going in with the Airbrush Flawless Filter foundation, you have to have something underneath because it's just very matte, very full coverage. So having something like this that adds a little glow back to the skin is really essential. I use shade 6 Neutral in this Airbrush Flawless foundation. Did I call it Airbrush Flawless Filter? I meant the Airbrush Flawless foundation. It dries really quickly and it's very full coverage. So I'm going to do a full pump on the back of my hand, but I'm going to work as quickly as possible in sections. Similar technique, I'm going to start in the center and then just blend, blend, blend. You also want to make sure your skin is properly hydrated. I did pull out my Charlotte's Magic Cream, but then I accidentally just used my other moisturizer. But the Magic Cream is a great combination underneath this foundation as well because it's a really thick, rich moisturizer. See how that covers? It is very, very full coverage. Moving on to the other side. I think I've used maybe half a pump so far. I used to wear really full coverage foundation like this every single day, but I just can't do it lately. I would say this is more of an evening, date night, special occasion foundation. You have photographs, brides, events, holiday party. It's just a little bit too much for me now for every day. It really helps to have something underneath the foundation to help it glide on the skin. Otherwise, it just wouldn't go very far. If it has something with a little slip to it, it's fine. I did one full pump on the back of my hand and I still have plenty of foundation left that I didn't even use up. This could easily be taken down the neck, kind of used to blend, or if you needed to go back and spot treat any areas, like I have a little breakout right there and there. But I am going to use concealer as well, so I think this is it. Not even a full pump. Next, I'm going in with one of my new favorite concealers. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer in the shade number 4 Fair. I love this concealer so much. It looks so smooth, doesn't crease, and I would say it has, oop, there's a little fuzzy. It has more of a medium buildable coverage, so it's not super full. Doesn't look too heavy or cakey, but everything just looks perfected underneath the eye, which I really love. I'm also going to use it to highlight. And because I did my best to use as little foundation as possible, but it still looks a little bit like a makeup mask, I'm going to apply a little bit more of the Flawless filter. Just a small amount to kind of help sheer this out. I have another new brush here from Rephr. This is the 33. It looks very pretty. It's kind of a flatter, large eyeshadow brush, but I think it will be perfect for concealer. I imagine you can use this for a lot of different things. But it's a very pretty concealer brush. It's a bit smaller, so probably not the fastest concealer brush. I'm not the biggest fan of the Charlotte Tilbury Pressed Compact Powder. I haven't tried the new one that's supposed to be really illuminating. It's on my wish list for the Sephora Holiday Savings event, but I have tried just her normal setting powder in the shade Light, and it oxidizes, it's a little bit too matte, it just makes the skin look extremely flat, which is okay, but it's just not my favorite setting powder, so instead I'm going to go in with the Chanel. It sets the makeup, it doesn't add coverage, and it doesn't look extremely flat matte, but it really mattifies the skin. Normally I would go in with bronzer, but I want to make sure you can really see the blush shade, so instead I'm just going to go directly in these palettes. I'm starting with the light to medium. I only have 2 cheeks and 4 shades of blush, so we're not going to be able to properly test everything today, but I really want to see what this shade down here looks like. So I pulled out a little fluffy brush, and we are going to go into this beautiful Barbie Core Pink, the Super Blush. Doesn't seem like there's a lot coming off on the brush. I did think it swatched very light, but actually it's probably a good thing because it's such a bold color. It actually goes on a little bit more sheer, but it's so pretty. Wow. Oh my goodness, I love this shade of blush. It looks a bit intimidating in the pan. It's bright fuchsia, but it's quite sheer. And I imagine if you wanted to, you could probably build it up a little bit. But no, that's beautiful. I love that shade. Okay, so what should we do on the other side? I'm not gonna dip into this. This is not my favorite. I purchased this palette for these. It's not bad, it's beautiful. I think we can probably apply that to the eyes. Now I'm pulling out my medium to deep palette, and I'm sort of curious to see if this one also goes on sheer. But then I like the idea of the peach. Let's just test it. We might as well. I'm kind of curious to see what this looks like. So you can be light-handed. I prefer the pink side, but this is not bad either. It kind of goes on like a deep raspberry. But both of the deep shades, like the bright fuchsia and then this color right here, not nearly as deep on the skin as you might expect. They're pretty sheer. I'm a little curious about this peach blush up here, so I'm going to apply a little bit of this as well. I love a peach blush, so this is going on the nose. So pretty, it's soft. It looks so cute. This is the perfect blush for kind of dusting right over the bridge of your nose. Okay, so we have a lot of blush on the cheek right now. I think all of the colors are really beautiful. They go on a little bit more sheer than I had expected. I actually think it works in the palette's favor because it is a blush palette. It's not an eyeshadow palette, but it's going to make it maybe a little bit more wearable. I was thinking earlier when I unboxed these and held them side by side, if this is fair to medium and this is medium to deep, they both kind of look like they fall closer to the medium side of the spectrum. Both of these could be medium palettes. This is kind of more of a cool pink. This is more of a warm peach. They're basically the same thing, just different undertone. I do think because the blushes are more sheer, they will work for light skin. You can build it up for deep skin. But if you have more of a medium skin tone, you can definitely use both of these. Before I go in with highlighter, I think I need to add a little color back to my face, so I'm going to go in with a little bronzer. I am using the Airbrush bronzer in the shade 2, medium. I'm just going to apply a little bit to the cheek, a little bit to the forehead. I love that these bronzers are refillable, but I wonder if anybody has actually finished it and purchased a refill. They're so big. It's going to take me a really long time to ever finish this. It's not my favorite bronzer shade. I actually think they need something in the middle between medium and tan. I don't know if maybe it's the order of operations here, but it's actually looking really nice. Maybe I need to start applying my blush first and then my bronzer. I think because I apply bronzer right after powder, when I'm looking really pale, I end up going in with too much bronzer to add color back to my face. But seeing my blush placement, I think this actually looks more natural. I might change the order I do my makeup. Did I just discover something? Complexion is coming together. It's time for highlighter. I have been eyeing this pink highlighter down here. We have to try this. It looks so pretty. And since I did the really pink blush on this side, I'll do the highlighter over here as well. Oh, that's really nice. It's a bit softer. So pretty. Oh my goodness. It's angelic. Ooh, I love it. It's not too bright, too blinding. It doesn't look glittery or too shimmery, and it's actually looking very smooth on my cheek. Smooth for a highlighter. I mean, highlighters tend to bring out texture in the skin. That's just the way it goes. But this looks quite nice because it's a little bit more subtle. Over here, I'm going to dip into, what should we try? Let's just see what this looks like as a blush topper. Reminds me so much of NARS Orgasm. Oh, it's cute. Definitely adds some color as well, so I wouldn't be able to use a lot of that. But I like how it does give a little glow. I knew I needed to be light-handed, and instead I built it up. Oh, but you know, that doesn't look too bad. I think I prefer this side though. But it just gives your blush a little glow. I think on somebody with a deeper skin tone, this is going to be stunning. So instead, let me add a little bit of this highlighter to the top of the cheekbone. See, now that works for me. Complexion is now completely done, so we're moving on to the eyes. I love the way the cheeks turned out. I think my favorite combination is this right here, down at the bottom. The really vibrant pink and then the pink highlighter on top. Looks so pretty. I picked up a fluffy brush. This is a Rephr 01, and I'm going into this blush right here, the Pillow Talk blush. This is the perfect mauve-y eyeshadow. And I am going to just apply this to the crease. The eye look is going to be pretty soft, and I don't want it to be too bright pink, which is why I'm going into this one, not this. But I think it will give a really nice, softer, monochromatic look. Same thing on the other side. Just buffing that into the crease. I know there might be some people out there who are sick and tired of pillow talk from Charlotte Tilbury, but this is what she does best. These colors, she really owns these colors. And the glowy, soft glam makeup aesthetic, it's the brand. Some of the new launches have been better than others, but this I was so excited about as soon as I saw photos. I'm going to be painfully annoying and go into the other eyeshadow palette now with a Rephr 13. I'm picking up this, and I'm going to see if I can build up a little color. Just applying this in the outer V outer lid. It really is sheer, so it's not going to give you a ton of depth. It's kind of a pretty raspberry color. It really doesn't, it looks so red in the pan, but it really does not look red at all on the eye. Using my finger, I'm going to go into this shade. I'm going to pop this on the lid. That's pretty. This palette is great for anybody who travels a lot. Maybe you're a bit more minimal and you just like everything all in one place. Very easy to work with. With a little pencil brush, I'm going back into the mauvier shade in the light medium palette, and I'm going to buff this beneath the lower lash line. I quickly filled in my eyebrows, and I pulled out my Pillow Talk eyeliner from Charlotte Tilbury, and I am going to apply this to the top lash line. I'm concentrating on the outer top lash line. So I'm not going to bring it all the way in. Very carefully, I am going to flick it out a teeny tiny bit. I always see people use their fingers to smudge it, and it always looks so pretty, but I can never figure out how to do it. I'm also going to apply this to the waterline. I saw a bunch of Charlotte Tilbury holiday sets launched recently at Sephora. I have not seen a large eyeshadow palette, which makes me a little bit sad because I always look forward to those. Although I guess it's a good thing because I can save my money. If I remember correctly, she launched it pretty late last year, so maybe we just haven't seen it yet and it will launch closer to Christmas. I'm not sure. Next, I picked up a little precision brush, and you could really go into any of the highlight shades. Picking up this one right here, and I am going to highlight the inner corner of the eye. It's very soft. Yeah, it's not really giving me the pop I was expecting. Looks pretty on the brow bone. I pulled out my Pillow Talk mascara. This is one of my favorite mascaras. Eyes are now done. I did add a little inner wing with eyeliner, and now I'm going to finish up with lips. I still can't find my Pillow Talk lip liner, so I'm going in with the Pink Venus from Charlotte Tilbury instead. And I'm just gonna feather this in a little bit. I'm gonna soften that up a bit, and then I'm going back with the Iconic Nude. And really just in the center. Gonna kind of blend that in a bit. This is going to help give the lips a little bit more definition. I forget what they call this. I think it's just Champagne Diamonds lip gloss. Or one of the lip diamonds, something like that. This is such a pretty color. And it just creates the most beautiful glossy nude lip. It's the prettiest combination. I don't think it needs anything else. The eyes are a bit simple. They're not my favorite, but we were just playing around with the palette. The cheeks, I think, look very pretty. This is my favorite side. But I think both of the blushes are really beautiful. I love the highlight. The highlighters in both of these palettes seem to be a little bit more subtle, which is a good thing. I think it looks very pretty. You still get, you know, a nice sheen there, but it's a little bit more wearable. As a final step, I'm just going into this champagne highlight. I'm going to dust this on the shoulders. So pretty. Because the highlighters are a little bit more subtle, I think they will work really nicely for the body. Ooh, I love it. This is the finished Pillow Talk makeup look of the day. I absolutely love both of these palettes. I think it would be nearly impossible to choose a favorite. I guess if I had to choose, I would say this palette, the Fair to Medium, because I really like that pink blush. I think the blush topper in this palette turned out really beautiful on the cheeks. So as a first impression, I would say both of them are beautiful. You can't really go wrong with them. I figured they would be absolutely stunning, and this packaging is amazing. The iridescent mother of pearl, it just looks so beautiful. I mean, this is one of the prettiest makeup compacts, I think, in my collection now. And it feels really heavy, it feels very luxurious. So I think for the price point, you get your money's worth because the pans are huge as well. So I absolutely love both of the new Pillow Talk palettes. So that completes my initial review. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you liked seeing this full face of Charlotte Tilbury. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be listed down below in the description box for your convenience. I know some people mentioned they were waiting for the palettes to be available at Sephora. They are, last time I checked. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.